Is there pressure on you this year to win it all?
No, not really. I thought there was more pressure last year. No, we have a really good team. We have some things we'll change. I was on a conference call today where they talked about the regions and different things like that. Now, I'll relay the message to the guys here shortly. And, from our talks, I think we'll do some revamping of the roster. Add a couple pieces, might subtract a couple pieces, but I like what we have. And one thing I can tell you is that our guys can't wait. Talking to our text chain, and a lot of trash talking goes on, but a lot of good stuff though. Like Kraft and Lighty, Diebler, Buford, Sully. These guys can't wait to come back and play in the TBT because we felt like we left it on the table last year.
Are you in charge of making sure no jerseys are still in it?
I really don't have to worry about that because the TBT, they kind of handle that. Right after the game, they take the jerseys, they clean them or do whatever they have to do.
No, I'm talking about the NCAA.
I'm leaving that alone. I don't have nothing to do with the jerseys. I don't want them. That's all up to Eric, the equipment manager. I don't know. They never blamed it on Wes when I was in school. What happened to my jersey? So to this day, it's still a mystery.
Not on eBay?
Nah, listen, I know there was some shirts sold on eBay, but I don't know if it was the official game jersey. But damn, Bob, you had to bring that up. Like, that hurts. Because I hear that this time of year. But to this day, if there's something that I have not yet gotten over, it's that jersey and that game. Like, really, because I felt like we was going to win the national championship that year. I like, in my heart, I felt it. I knew when we got to the Final Four, that game, it was going to be either Ohio State or UConn. The winner of that game was going to win. I just felt it, and I just wasn't myself that day. So, yeah, that's a sore spot.
Scoonie, since you've been there, and since you are now educating a group of players, many of them have not been in this situation. What advice do you give them? How do you go about trying to get them mentally? Because you got plenty of time.
Yeah.
How do you go about preparing?
Well, we haven't really touched upon it too much. I didn't want to, get it started too early. But the guys understand. They worked hard because they wanted to be a tournament team. You have, JT and Kata, Cam, these guys really wanted a chance to play and have their one shining moment. But when I do talk to them about it, I will tell them like I told them for the Big Ten tournament in New York City. Like, when you're a kid growing up, there's certain things, if you love this game, that you want to be a part of. Like, and playing in a Garden was one of them, at least for me. Because you think about the Garden, you think of all the great performers and all the big games and all the best players in the world. When they played in the Garden, they played their best games. Well, it's the same for the NCAA tournament. When you started watching basketball, you watch March Madness. And you watch these buzzer shots, these national champions, and this is something you want to be a part of, well, this is your opportunity. Don't let it go to waste. And at the end of the day, listen, you're going to win games, you're going to lose games, but you're going to remember these games. I remember every tournament game that I played in. I remember how I felt and the results. So it's something that these guys will take for the rest of their life. So hopefully they can go on a run and, have some really good memories of being an NCAA tournament team.
What has this year meant to you, to be around this team, to have what you have? What has this all meant to you?
Man, it's meant the world to me. Like, I really enjoy it. Just being around Coach Holtman and the staff. I mean, I've learned so much. I already thought I knew everything about basketball, but but being inside and game planning, just watching how things develop, it was good for me. But just watching how these young men have played this year, the work they put in. Like, we've had hard practice all year. Coach Holtman doesn't let up on these guys, but watch the way they responded all season, and they worked hard, and just the good moments we had, especially for a team that had no expectations. I know a lot about that because it was just like our team before. There wasn't really any expectations. Then we start winning, and then the expectations fall upon you. How do you handle them? I think we did pretty good, but just being around the guys and the program has just been excellent. I've enjoyed it, and it's just fueling me. I want more. Like, I want to be sitting where Coach Holtman's sitting one day.
Are there any similarities between this team and your 1999 team? Because the year before, I think less than 10 wins. I know you weren't there, but do you see any similarities between the two teams at all?
Yeah, they were both teams that didn't do well the year before. Although last year's team was much better than the team that played the year before, my team, with 8-22. But the similarities are there. teams that were underdogs that weren't picked to do much, but took a lot of teams by surprise, and that I guess band together and did some really good things. The chapter of this team is still yet to be written. Ours was great. We was able to go to the Final Four. We won a Puerto Rican tournament early in the season. We had a lot of great wins. So, we'll see. We can have this conversation in the next couple weeks, and hopefully it'll be the same type of outcome and possibly better.
Scoonie, kind of going off of Jeremy's question
Mhm.
earlier, just what if you're, I mean, I know this is your first year with the program, and
Mhm.
you've always been a pretty outspoken guy, whether it be on 97.1 years past or whatever.
Mhm.
Just what has your observation been of this team from a Final Four team just 6 years ago to the struggles of the past few seasons
Mhm.
to what you guys are accomplishing right now? Just as someone who's been close to the
Yeah.
program for a couple of decades now, just
It's,
what's been going through your mind here these past few years?
I mean, you just look at the program when you're invested in it, and you start to see us going bad. Listen, Thad did an excellent job, and like a lot of programs, you have your ups and downs. There's very few programs that stay on top all the time. I mean, we know who those are. But if you look back not too long ago, I mean, Duke had their rough patches, Kentucky had their rough patches, North Carolina as well. But to watch the roller coaster ride has been the last couple years, you just know that this is a program that can get back to being on top. Like, we have the resources, there's everything you want here at this university that can get you back on top. And it just takes a couple recruiting classes. More than anything, you got some young men here that understand, what's on the front of their jersey, and they play for that, and they put the time and dedication into it, and it's possible because you have everything you need that is right behind you here at the university with the support and everything we have to offer. So it's been good to see us, back where we need to be an NCAA tournament team after not being that for the last couple of years. That was pretty tough to watch, just knowing where Thad had taken us, as a program and being in the Final Four and always, being the number one team in the country. And that's what we want here. We want to get back to that. And I'm sure Coach Holtman, he's not going to probably talk about that too much, rightfully so. But, of course, as a staff and as players and alumni of this program, that's what we want. Ultimately, we want to be on top. We want Big Ten championships. We want, NCAA runs that's deep into it all the time. And that's why we're here.
I wanted to ask you about this after your game last month when you guys wore those equality shirts. Coach Holtman said that was your idea. Just how much did that mean to you to be able to do that? It's just such a big topic in society today of equality and all that stuff. And I know some people might prefer you guys to just shut up and dribble.
Yeah. No, it meant a lot.
How much did that mean to
No,
you
it meant
to
a
be
lot.
able to make that statement?
It did. It was just, of course, we was, coming upon Black History Month. We had these shirts that were provided by Nike. And one thing, you want your student athletes, you want them to be aware of what's going on. They're not blind. They know what's going on every day. They have their social media. They see it on television, everything. But it was good that as a program, Coach Holtman, he was on board with it. Our guys, they wanted to do it as well. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Didn't get much backlash from it, and I don't think we should have at all. But it was cool. It was cool. I think hopefully in the future we can do more things like that for other causes, because as a university and when you're out in the forefront, you're able to make a stand and be a voice. And I think our college athletes, they have a voice and they should be able to use it as well.
Scoonie, we know you're able to bring your experience of playing in NCAA tournaments for guys, but how nice is it to have Gregg alongside
Yeah.
you? Just the knowledge that he has of the program and just the kind of impact that he's able to make.
Gregg is funny because me and Gregg talk a lot on the sideline, so we say a lot of little quiet things. But no, Gregg is good because, especially with the big guys, Gregg, he's obviously Gregg's, he's played recently enough that these guys know who he is. They know what he done. So when Gregg tells them something, they listen. They will listen to Gregg. And Gregg has a funny way of saying it. Like, I might have a little more, I have a little more authority when I say something. But I might be joking around with him. But with Gregg, you don't know if he's serious or joking when he says something. You have, no idea. But no, just having Gregg around all the time. And these guys seeing, hey, this guy was a #1 draft pick in the NBA. That is rare. That's like a unicorn. And him being here every day and these guys able to see him walk in and out of the program. If you're a guy who loves this game and you want to be great, you want to be successful, to see that every single day should motivate you. And if it doesn't, then there's something wrong.
Do you and Greg like putting the guys in their place from now and then, like after the Purdue win and after Cade won Player of the Year? Do you kind of like tell them like, hey, you haven't done what we have?
Yeah. For sure. It's a little bit of hazing going on. I congratulated Cade. I said, welcome to the club, being Player of the Year. But no, we mess with them. Like, hey, listen, you guys still have work to do. You guys done well so far. And we would tell them all this, throughout the season. Like, you guys are working to win the Big Ten. You guys want to be champions. You want to be NCAA tournament team. Well, there's still more work to do. Because, myself and Greg, I think we come from a different place where, we've had coaches like Coach Holtman, where you win a game, you can celebrate for 20 minutes, and then it's on to the next game. So you have that short-term memory of those great wins because you have to prepare for the next one. There's always something else. There's always a chance to get better. And that's the kind of mind frame you have to have as a player, especially going to tournament time. If we're lucky to win our first game, you're okay, for a little while. Then you got to, get back into mode of learning because we have a team to prepare for in like another day. So I think that's good to have, guys like us around to keep these guys level-headed and understand, like, listen, you can't get too high. You got to stay even keel because there's going to be ups and downs throughout the season and the careers as well.
What clicked for you guys in that run in '99?
What clicked?
Yeah.
Me and Mike Ray got hot. That's what happened. And we had a guy like Ken Johnson to block everything defensively. I mean, listen, our role players that we had were unbelievable. Like, I don't think people ever gave them enough credit. But what Jason Singleton brought to the table was uncomparable. Ken Johnson, when he did defensively, was unbelievable. And then we had, young guys like Brian Brown, Boman Savovich. These guys made big shots. So everyone played their role. That's what was special about our team, that everyone knew exactly what their role was. George Reese did an excellent job off the bench. They knew when the game got tight or whenever we needed a basket, either I was going to shoot or Mike was going to shoot it. They wasn't going to shoot the ball. But guys knew to set the right screen. Defensively, we knew our game plan. And it was all for the good of the team. It wasn't an individual, no one wanted to be the man. Everyone did it because they knew like what's going to give us the best chance to win. So, I mean, that was a recipe right there.
Have you talked to any of the players specifically about that run that you made in
Oh, we
99?
talk all the time. Yeah, we talk all the time. And March is rolling around, so we'll have more conversations about it. But that's one thing about our group of guys that we had. Like, those are my brothers for life. We're all still in contact. Even, you think of the guys that were walk-ons, like Quadro Steele, who was an assistant athletic director down in the Charlotte area. Devon Smith, who's an assistant coach at Wichita State. Like, we are so tight that we all still talk. We spend time together in the summertime when everyone's around because we created a bond. We did a lot of dancing that year in the locker room. We had a lot of special moments, and those guys will never forget it, and none of us ever will.
What about the players currently on OSU's roster? Do you bring up that 99 run and maybe what
Yeah.
you might want them to kind of take from your experience?
Well, they ask me about it a lot. They joke around because if you see in the practice gym, there's a missing space. And so they try to be, they want to be funny, but like, well, you didn't go to Final Four because I don't see it anywhere. I said, oh, trust me, you can YouTube it, No, but they asked me about it, and I'm gladly telling them about it, how tough it was, but how fun it was. Because as a player, that's like your dream. As kids, we dream of course, everybody wants to be a pro playing in the NBA. But you dream about playing in college, and what do you dream about? Going to the Final Four. That's like the ultimate, and to actually get there was one of the best things in my life. Good.